No?
I believe we are now recording, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Welcome everybody to the Sioux Committee of Adjustment and Consent Drafting Authority, Tuesday, February the 15th, 2022. It's 5 p.m. Determination of quorum. We have quorum, yes. Can anybody hear me? We have quorum, yes. Corey, you there?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Any updates? Nothing here. Call the meeting to order at 5:01. Motion to excuse members, Donna Brunton. I thought that was, oh, she's here, right? Are you there, Donna? No?
No, Donna's not here tonight.
Yeah, I know she's not there, but she was supposed to be online or whatever, but so we'll excuse her, I guess, at this time. The agenda committee of adjustment meeting, February 5th, 5:01. The agenda. We give the meeting February 15th, 2022. Review corrections to the agenda. Any corrections? None heard. Motion to approve the agenda submitted as amended.
Corey moves. Yep, I move.
Corey moves. I move. Agenda is perused. Second by, moved by, you first, Corey? Yes.
Yep.
Disclosure of community interest in the general nature thereof. None.
None for me.
None. Good. Minutes from the committee meeting of October 19th, 2021. Review for corrections to the minutes. Anything?
I read them. Looks good.
Motion to approve the minutes as submitted and amended. Have none? Oh, Corey, I guess. Minutes of the committee adjusting, that the minutes of the committee adjustment meeting of October 19th be adopted as presented and corrected. First, all firsted. Corey, you can do it again.
I'll second, Don.
Business arising from the minutes, any? None?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, there is no business arising from those minutes.
Okay, thank you. Delegations, none? We have no delegations, yes?
My apologies. That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
We have two minor variances tonight, and I'll read the first one off and then we'll discuss it, and the second one after we voted on this one here, okay? Minor variance application M01-2022 received from Bob McKaylee to seek release from the parking requirements of the zoning bylaw to permit the construction of a addition on the subject property located at 79 Queen Street. And I have to get the paperwork here. Oh. Which one is it? This. Okay, I'll read this first half and I think staff can read the rest, whatever they're reading. Planning report, municipality of Sioux Committee of Adjustment. Application for minor variance, M01-2022. Kaylee, Fresh Market Foods, February 15, 2022. Introduction. Bob McKaylee, the owner of subject lands, has submitted a minor variance application for the lot known locally as 79 Queen Street in the municipality of Sioux. The purpose of the minor variance is to seek relief from required parking provisions of the zoning bylaw. The applicant is proposing to construct an addition to the existing retail store, grocery store, on the subject property, which is to be used as a warehouse for storage. Following the proposed addition, the retail store on the subject property do not meet the minimum requirements for the number of parking spaces that is required in the zoning bylaw. The subject property at 79 Queen Street is shown on figure 1, and that's supplied to everybody. Background, is staff going to read the background?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I'll give a presentation. So as mentioned, an application for minor variance was submitted by Bob McKaylee for the subject property at 79 Queen Street, better known locally as Fresh Market Foods grocery store. The intent of the application is to allow for the construction of an addition on the north side of the existing grocery store. The addition is to be used as warehouse space for storage and has a gross floor area of 724 square meters. The subject property is located in the commercial core designation of the official plan and the downtown commercial zone in the zoning bylaw. In this zone, if an addition is proposed that increases the floor area of the building, then parking spaces for the addition must be provided. The parking calculation for a warehouse use is 0.8 spaces per 100 square meters of gross floor area, meaning that an additional 6 parking spaces need to be provided. The applicant is not proposing to provide any additional parking spaces. The proposed addition is to be built on the north side of the existing building. This location currently is used as a seasonal garden center. The proposed addition would displace the current location of that seasonal garden center, with the garden center proposed to be moved into the on-site parking lot. The new location of the garden center would result in further reduction to the number of available parking spaces on the site, though only on a temporary seasonal basis. Currently, the on-site parking lot has 114 parking spaces, including 12 barrier-free spaces. The new location of the garden center would eliminate 12 of the existing parking spaces. And I'm just going to pull up a quick site plan here so everything's clear. Okay, hopefully everybody can see the site plan. So as mentioned, this is the subject property. This is the existing grocery store here. This is the north area that the addition is proposed for. Currently, this is the home of the seasonal garden center, which is proposed to be moved to this northwestern area here on top of some of the existing parking spaces. So that's why the existing parking spaces were also taken into account in this application. So the variance is proposed to not require the additional 6 parking spaces required for the warehouse addition and to reduce the total amount of parking spaces on the subject property by 12 to allow for the new proposed location of the seasonal garden center. As such, the variance would permit a minimum of 100 parking spaces, including barrier-free parking spaces on the subject property. A parking study was completed to examine the potential effects on the required parking for both the proposed addition and the new location of the garden center. The parking study concluded that the parking lot has sufficient capacity even at peak periods, and that the proposed warehouse addition will not increase parking lot demand by staff or customers. The location of the subject property is within the urban Sioux Lookout settlement area, which is where the provincial policy statement directs most growth and development. The PPS also encourages the efficient use of land and resources within settlement areas. Overall, the existing development and proposed addition is a permitted use in the context of the PPS and is consistent with the PPS. The 4 tests of a minor variance were reviewed regarding this application. The variance is in keeping with the official plan and the zoning bylaw, as the proposed warehouse space aligns with the retail use of the existing building, which is a permitted use in the commercial core designation, as well as the downtown commercial zone. The official plan and zoning bylaw contain policy regarding parking requirements and states that developments should have adequate on-site parking in order to minimize spillover. The location of the subject property is fairly central and is in the urban area, meaning it's readily accessible by foot and by taxi, which reduces demand for parking on the site. The parking analysis also concludes that the existing parking lot has enough capacity even when factoring in the proposed addition and the proposed new location of the seasonal garden center. The variance also provides for the desirable development of the land, as the development contributes to the commercial nature of the downtown core. Finally, the variance is considered minor, as the parking study has concluded that the 100 proposed parking spaces is appropriate for the site. In conclusion, the proposed variance is to require a minimum of 100 parking spaces, including barrier-free parking spaces on the subject property. Staff are recommending the approval of this minor variance.
That's it. Comments from anybody? Any comments from the public?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we did not receive any comments from the public on this application.
Okay, any comments from staff?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we did receive comments on this application from Public Works staff. They were received from Jeff Hawley, the Public Works Manager. He did not have any concerns with the application, but he did provide some comments, including further to our conversation a few moments ago, as they are not seeking any increase in sewer or water servicing, we would have no issues. However, it is important to note that there is a land drainage system and 2 associated catch basins that will need to be decommissioned, removed, and or filled in. As a result, they will need to ensure adequate positive slope away from the building and properly close off the upper end of the land drainage system. As such, we would, as a condition of approval, request that they involve Public Works with their plans related to stormwater control in advance and an inspection of the land drainage system work when it occurs. I can be the point of contact with Matt Lalonde for Public Works.
Okay. Comments from the owners? No comments?
Hi, Bob and Kaylee. I don't really have any comments, but I just wanted to re-emphasize the fact that, first of all, where the expansion is going, there's no current parking being used in that area. Of course, the garden center is there, but also the expansion is not going to be requiring additional parking spaces because it's just going to be, from what I understand, it's just going to be strictly for warehouse.
Okay.
I'm not involved in the operation. I'm just the landlord of the property now. So, but it's just going to be for warehouse. So it's not going to require additional parking.
Okay. Any other comments, anybody? Have none? Corey, did you go over, you must have looked at the site, I would guess.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Just if Jody can maybe touch base on the catch basins, are we going to, so who covers that cost? What are the issues with them being removed? Are we going to move them or put them in another spot for the drainage in that area?
So in regards to the storm water system, it's all on private land, so it would be up to the developer to properly decommission. And, and obviously this new addition is going to have some roof drainage that he's going to have to take care of, and ideally be piped into what's in the, the lot already. And hopefully that the existing pipes now have the capacity to take on maybe this extra roof drainage, but it would have taken the surface drainage anyway, previous to that. So yeah, through the construction process and working with Jeff, we can make sure that, municipally we aren't affected by it and that the site is drained still as appropriately as it is now.
And I guess where the propane is on the northeast end of the property. Did we not have that brought to council already? And they had asked for a section of land by the municipality?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So that was approved by council, and I think just, so yeah, basically to the east of the addition would be a little plot of land they were going to purchase pending the outcome of this. And I guess if they move forward with the addition, to relocate, I believe, the transformer, electrical transformer, and the propane tanks.
Okay. Yeah, those were my only concerns. I know all these little details get figured out as you move forward. So I have no issue with moving ahead with this.
Thanks, Corey. A couple of things, I guess, that I looked at is, are we going to lose the entrance that's on Queen Street to parking spaces?
Can you?
Sorry, go ahead, Judy.
Oh, I was just going to ask if you could just maybe pull up the site plan again. I can't recall if that was part of that.
So through you, Mr. Chairman, I may defer to the applicant, as the original document that was provided with the application did show that the entrance on Queen Street was going to be removed. However, the image in the parking analysis showed the entrance as staying. So it's not 100% clear at this point in time. I don't know if that is something that has changed over the course of the project. But right, all of our analyses and the planning report, it takes into account the lowest number of parking spaces that would be available on the site, regardless of whether the entrance is removed or not.
But I've seen one with angled parking on it on the north side there. So just wondering if, as of the angled parking, are they going to put signage in to try and get the flow not to go on that return side? If you look at the angle plan, you have to angle out and then go west down in the parking lot to get around to go out on the 6th Avenue road, I believe it is. So is that Mr. McKaylee can answer that or not?
I don't want to make any comment on the actual design and engineering of the proposed plan. I'll leave that to Kuwait Nasky, who did the study of the parking and has done the engineering and the drawings. So I think there's somebody from Kuwait Nasky at the meeting here to maybe shed some light on that.
Okay. Well, if it comes up again, then I'd like to know if you can paint the roads to direct traffic to go the right way, as opposed to going out close to the man doors that are going where people go back and forth on the parking lot.
Fair enough.
Okay. Any other comments? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. Norm Lawrence here. I could answer that question for you if you'd like.
Yes, yes.
So basically, the angled parking was added for when the garden center is in use, just to give proper backing up space when the cars are in place. So it's more of a temporary. It's in play for temporary use, but certainly it would be easy to put some signage in there to show one-way directional down that particular lane. So that would be pretty easy to achieve.
Okay, good. No other comments from anybody? Anything, am I missing anything, staff? No?
No, I don't believe so. You're doing great, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Okay, so we'll move to the yes or no side of it. The minor variance application M01-2022 for 79 Queen Street be approved to not require an additional 6 parking spaces for this proposed warehouse addition. Reduce the amount of parking spots by 12 to allow for a seasonal garden center. Require a minimum of 100 parking spaces, including 12 barrier-free parking spaces on the subject lands in accordance with the parking study submitted with the application. We'll have a vote on it right now. Corey, you?
I'm in favor of this.
Okay, and I'm in favor of it too. So moved by Corey, moved by Corey, seconded by Donald Fenlon, that the appropriate thing has been passed. Carries? Okay, me too, yep. Okay, there's one more document for staff to read. I think that's the what is the thing in line here? Yeah. Notice of decision, approval, authority, reasons, and applications. We, the undersigned, in making a decision upon this application for minor variance, in addition to the other matters, have had regard to the matters that are to be had regard to under the subsection 45 of the Planning Act, and having considered whether a minor variance of the land in accordance with section 45 of the Act is necessary for the proper and orderly development of the municipality. Concur in the following decision, the reason for decisions made on the 15th day of February 2022. That's been passed. Staff, do I need that other one for the appeal?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, you should also read that.
Okay. Appeal, the last date for filling in notice of appeal to this section is March 7th, 2022, 20 days from the date of the decision. Any such appeal must be filed with approval authority, and must set out the reasons for the appeal, and must be accompanied by a fee required by the local planning appeal tribunal. Notice of changes, if applicable, you will be entitled to receive the notice of change to the conditions of the provisional consent. If you have made a written request to be notified of this change to the conditions of the provisional content. Persons appeal limitations. Only individuals, corporations, and public bodies may appeal decision in respect to the application for the consent to the local planning appeal tribunal. A notice of appeal may not be filed by an unincorporated association or group. However, a notice of appeal may be filed in the same of the individual who is a member of an association or group on its behalf. Concurrent applications.
Mr. Chairman, that will
Yes.
do. That's perfect.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about the last paragraph. That's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
I guess if there's nothing else on this subject, you can say that Mr. McKinley has been approved, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
I'll sign off. Thank you.
we'll move to our other application. So I have one, I have to go back a bit. I have one, I think, for, no, this is 41 under our laundry. Okay. Okay, we have an application. I'm gonna do it right here. Corporation Municipality of Sioux, post office box, or whatever, planning report. Municipality of Sioux Committee of Adjustment application for minor variance, MO 3-2022. Sioux First Nation Health Authority, 40 King Street, February 15th, 2022. Introduction. Matthew Turner, on behalf of Sioux First Nations Health Authority, has submitted a minor variance application for the lot known locally as 40 King Street in the municipality of Sioux. Proposed purpose of the minor variance is to seek relief from minimum required rear yard for the downtown commercial zone in the zoning bylaw. The application is proposing to conduct a new office building on the subject property. The subject property at 40 King Street are shown on figure 1. On figure 1, subject lands. Background proposed. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So as mentioned, an application for minor variance has been submitted by Matthew Turner on behalf of Sioux Lookout First Nations Health Authority, SLIFNA, for the subject property at 40 King Street. The subject property is currently vacant. The intent of the application is to allow for the construction of a new office building, which will be used for offices for medical administration in conjunction with the building at 42 King Street, which is also owned by SLIFNA. The subject property is located within the commercial core designation of the official plan and the downtown commercial zone in the zoning bylaw. The proposed office building is to be located 3.12 meters from the rear yard, from the rear lot line, pardon me. The zoning bylaw requires a minimum rear yard of 5 meters in the downtown commercial zone. Thus, the variance is required to permit a rear yard of 3 meters. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, PPS, as the PPS encourages growth and development in settlement areas. The subject property is located within the urban Sioux Lookout settlement area. The PPS also encourages the efficient use of existing services. The subject property is located along a municipally maintained road and will be connected to municipal water and sewer. The 4 tests of a minor variance were reviewed in regard to this application. The variance is in keeping with the intent of the official plan, as the official plan includes policies related to providing commercial services in the commercial core designation, as well as developing the commercial core as a center for these types of uses. The proposed office building will activate a lot in the commercial core that is currently vacant. The servicing for the lot is also in alignment with the policies of the official plan. The variance is also in keeping with the intent of the zoning bylaw. The office use itself is permitted and encouraged in the CB zone. The proposed rear yard of 3 meters will still provide sufficient space in the rear area of the lot for staff parking, as primary parking for the building is in the front yard. Access along the back lane will be maintained, and there will be adequate space for snow clearing and other activities that will take place on the road allowance. I'm going to share my screen. I apologize, I meant to do that earlier. I will show the site plan for everybody.
Sorry.
The variance also provides for the desirable development of the land, as the development appears to represent a desirable use and would appear to be compatible with adjacent properties. Finally, the variance is considered minor as the proposed development meets all of the other applicable provisions of the zoning bylaw. In conclusion, the proposed variance is to permit a reduced rear yard of 3 meters on the subject property. Staff are recommending the approval of this minor variance. And I will stop sharing that now, but if we would like it back up during the discussion, just let me know.
Okay. Can I just take a minute? I'm going to call here. Hello. Hello. Yes. Yes. I'm on. Okay. Hello.
You're good to go, Don.
Oh, great. Thanks. And where did I leave off? Committee of Adjustment, minor variance MO 3-2022. Do we have any comments from the the public.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we did not receive any comments from the public on this application.
Okay, comments from staff?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, yes, we did receive comments from Public Works, again from Jeff Hawley, Manager of Public Works. He also did not have any concerns with this application, but he did note that as this project will require connection to the town's sewer and water system and potentially impact the LDS, we would ask that the developer's consultant reach out to us sooner rather than later. While there is a 6-inch water line fronting this property, the 8-inch sewer terminates roughly 45 feet either side of the property. This is an unusual configuration for mid-block and presumably is due to this location being a high point. There may be depth of bury issues for the sewer and additional costs due to the greater distance to a tie-in location. Nothing to likely prevent the project, but worthy of further discussion and of alerting the proponents that water fronts this location, but sewer does not.
Any comments from the developer?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee, town administration. We've received the concern noted by administration, and we are engaged with KAL Engineering locally, and we'll be certainly engaging with local contractors who are familiar, but we see no issue and see no concern meeting the requirements and as is conditions that the site presents to us. And we're certainly prepared to investigate to the point that satisfies A, our knowledge, and B, the delivery required.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Corey, do you have any comments?
Yeah, that's just my main concern, that gets dealt with in the proper way, and seems that that's going to be done. So I don't have an issue with the minor setback. That's minor. Getting the water and the sewer set up is probably the main thing. So as long as that's put into the record, then I'm good to go with this one. Thanks.
Okay, that sounds good. Just I visited the site early today, and it's snowed over and stuff like that. But I'm just curious how close it's going to come to the house next door, to the east of that.
So through you, Mr. Chairman, I don't have a great image right off the top of my head, but there's actually a small lot in between the proposed development and the house to the east. It is a half lot, so if I had to guess, it's approximately 32 feet, maybe a little bit more wide. I don't know off the top of my head. I would have to double check that. But it is actually a separate lot that is owned by a separate owner. It's not the owner of the house to the east, and it's not owned by Slifna. So there is a buffer between the residential use and the proposed use on this lot here at 40 King Street.
Okay, thank you. I have something else to read, but I can't find it right now. Background proposals. Is that right?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I missed your question.
The background proposal. Did you read that? Yes.
Yes, that's been done.
Okay. Okay, so I guess we'll have a vote on it. Corey, moved by Corey Lego, seconded by Donald Fallon. That the minor variance application MO3 2022 for 40 King Street be approved to permit the construction of a new office building with a rear yard of 3 meters. All in agreement? Corey?
Yes.
So am I. So that's carried. Okay, anything else, staff, on that? Have a notice of decision, approval authority with reasons, an application for minor variance. An application by Matthew Turner on behalf of Sioux First Nation Health Authority, SNFLA. Location of property, 40 King Street, Plan M20, Lot 152, parcel 5905. Purpose of the application to permit construction of a new office building with a reduced minimum rear yard of 3 meters. We, the undersigned, in making decisions about this, upon this application for the minor variance, in addition to other matters, have had regard to the matters that are to be had regard to under the subsection 45 of the Planning Act, and having considered whether a minor variance of the plan is in accordance with section 45 of the Act is necessary for the proper and orderly development of the municipality. Concur in the following decision and reasons for the decisions made on the 15th day of February 2022. Decision, we have approved it. The last date for filing a notice of appeal of this decision is March 7th, 2022, 20 days from the date of the decision. Any such appeal must be filed with the approval authority and must set out the reasons for the appeal and must be accompanied by the fee required by the local planning appeal tribunal. Notice of changes, if applicable. You will be entitled to receive a notice of any changes to the conditions of the provisional consent if you have made a written request to be notified of change to the condition of the proposal consent. Person appeal limitations. Only individual corporations and public bodies may appeal the decision in respect to the application for consent to the local planning appeal tribunal. A notice of appeal may not be filed by an unincorporated association or group. However, a notice of appeal may be filed in the name of an individual who is a member of the association or group on its behalf. Concurrent application plans, subject land where applicable. Subject land is also the subject of an application under the Act of. That's it for me.
That's great. Yes, thank you.
Okay. So, anything else? Anything else that we have?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, there is no old business. We may
Okay.
have another application coming forward as new business. We don't have an official date for that yet, but we will be in touch with the committee to schedule that as it comes.
Okay, good. As there's no other applications or comments, and anybody got any comments? No? Okay. Moved by Donald Fenlon, seconded by Corey, that the Committee of Adjustment meeting of February 15, 2022 be adjourned. Moved by Corey. Seconded by Don Fenlon. All in favor? I can't see anybody, but are we all in favor?
Yes,
Yeah. That's
yes,
good.
we are.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 5:40.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks,
Don.
everyone. Have a
Yes,
great
thanks
night.
very
Good
much,
work, Don.
Councilor Fenlon.
Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
Take care.
Yep.